Hello and welcome to episode 64 of our Timberborn Update 5 Waterbeaver playthrough here in cycle 85, day 7. A glorious 6 frames per second, friends. We are back once again in the slideshow. Back trying to get more progress done for the Waterbeavers, just so we can, actually move the camera on. I'm going to hit pause, if I can actually get it to stay paused. There we go. And let's take a look and see what we got accomplished. Well, not even just last time, just generally as of late. Probably the most consequential thing being last episode when we started flattening this land and then started planting some more giant sequoias and began the very slow process of replacing these guys with grapes. So since we're already here and things are paused where I can actually use my mouse, let's go ahead and plant some more grapes in here. Again, the goal is to have this entire area... Click, please. Thank you. Just completely... I don't even know what the right word would be for it, but overrun with grapes, because I keep planting more grapes, and we never have more than a couple of them. We absolutely have got to have more grapes. So, that's kind of been what the vibes have been for the past couple episodes, is I need grapes, and how am I going to make it happen? So, that's what's happening over here. Progress on this has actually been really good. I've been very pleased with that. Now that we have some growing here, again, it's going to take a really, really long time for these to start getting, actually big enough to get harvested. But these are halfway there, 25 days. So will we get 25 days in this episode? I don't know. It's really, really, really slow, especially now that it's paused. So we can actually, move the camera around. But we're going to make stuff happen. We're continuing to blast down here. We were making dynamite. I saw a couple comments asking, hey, why don't you make dynamite in the abyss? And, okay, well, this isn't the right building to be clicking first off, but we are. We are, in fact, making dynamite in the abyss. And then I believe this one over here is also, yes, making dynamite. Supposed to be, but all the stuff that's kind of, I guess it would be upstream from that in terms of production, is not quite there. Endothermic essence has been a pain in the butt for a really, really long time. And that's one of those things that's being produced not here. I believe it's in a distillery. Yes, this one right here. Minty bamboo shoots. My eternal nemesis for the past, 20 episodes of this playthrough. We've added so much bamboo, but it's still not enough. So we just need more bamboo. That's what it boils down to. We always go through the bamboo shoots super, super quickly. So, I mean, I can have everything else ready to go, and it's not going to matter because the endothermic essence is just not flowing the way it needs to be flowing. And even if I had the supplies, one of these distilleries can only make 3 of them every 2 hours. And then the clinic isn't consuming endothermic essence, but it is consuming the minty bamboo shoots as well. So, we kind of have to have the frost balm because I've got currently 22 beavers with major burns. And, the ice blocks aren't really something that comes quickly. We could, and we are, making ice blocks with the alchemist, but that's consuming the endothermic essence, which also has all these other uses. It's a process, right? So we kind of tried to solve that by having... the polar beavers have 3 of these guys, and I do have one that's supposed to be importing ice blocks, but in my misplaced zeal and all the other distractions that have come the past couple of weeks, it's been a long time since we started doing this in this playthrough, man. We don't have any awful stew, which is what this was supposed to be making, but I had it paused because we didn't have all the other stuff. So I'm going to unpause that. Again, the game is still paused so we can, actually interface with it correctly. But this is going to require more bramble flowers, which brings us over... See, it's a wild goose chase every single time. We've got these buildings right here, these GMO growing labs, currently making berries, mushrooms, and mushrooms. There is also an option for bramble flowers. I feel like we had this discussion like a billion times. But the GMO growing lab... recipe for bramble flowers. Every hour and a half, you can get 7 of them, but it consumes glowing fluid, which we do not have enough of. So I don't ever want to use the GMO growing lab to make this. Somebody suggested almost every single video is like, do that. No, I'm not doing it. I'm sorry. I'm actually not even that sorry. We're just not doing it. It's not a good recipe for what we have going on right now. It's much better to do it in a place like the multi-purpose outdoor workspace, which we are. It's making with sawdust and water. But now the problem is we don't have any sawdust because everything that uses sawdust still doesn't have enough sawdust. So what do? We can stop things that are using sawdust, like the paper mill, but then we don't have any paper, and paper is really important. So it's like a dog chasing its own tail, or what's that? The folklore thing about the snake that eats itself. I can't remember how that's pronounced, so I'm not going to try. But we can kind of, I'm not going to say solve the problem. We can alleviate the problem by having the underground factory here make paper, and then at least for the sake of my personal sanity, pause this paper mill. And then we have this grist mill that's currently making chestnut flour, and that's a good thing. It does need to be making chestnut flour, but as somebody pointed out in the comments, it also has the ability to make sawdust. So if we take a look at that recipe here, the sawdust recipe, I mean, every hour you could have 100 sawdust. That's pretty good to me. Sounds pretty good, as long as we have enough logs, which we do. But then the problem becomes, where am I going to get the chestnut flour to make the chestnut beer? Well, I'm going to have another grist mill. And there was some point in time where I did have another grist mill over here. I think it's still here. Oh, hey, this is already making chestnut flour. But instead of me having this one right here only make chestnut flour, because, I mean, this is where the chestnuts are being grown. It makes more sense to make the chestnut flour here, right? I think so, at least. I'm going to, first of all, see what this one's doing. Oh, okay, well, never mind. This is a matched pair. Okay, so, new idea. New idea. How about I build another grist mill just for the purpose of making sawdust? And if I can find a good place to pop that thing. Where does the power go in on this thing again? Oh, perfect. It goes into the top. That's actually doable. So, I will put that... lag. I'm trying to click and drag. Thank you. This poor game. Timberborn never asked for this, and we forced it to do it anyway. That's actually kind of cruel if you think about it. But we're having a whole lot of fun, so I guess that makes it okay in this specific context. Yeah, I'll just put this here, make that a turbo dude. And this guy's going to make sawdust. And of course, right now we do have... which one of these is making logs? This one. And we have this... Oh, this paper mill doesn't need to be paper milling. That can easily get paused. Solve some problem there. And then, of course, we have a log gnawing station. Every 3 hours, we make 12 sawdust. That's really not a very efficient use of resources, but... I mean, I guess it's probably fine. I know the game is still paused, and we're in, like, almost 10 minutes at this point. I promise we're going to get stuff done. It is just very hard to get anything accomplished while the game is actually running anymore. So, triple speed, there we go. Yes, that FPS is just absolutely glorious. So, they're going to get to work on a lot of that stuff. And we do have a bunch of other things that would be nice to get taken care of as well. Just is going to take some time. So, just to address, there we go, correct words. Different things that people have been leaving comments on for the past couple of videos. Actually, before we do that, I think it probably is just a good time to have a general reminder to everybody. If you don't reference a time code when you leave a comment, I'm probably not going to know what you're talking about unless you're very specific with how you choose to word your stuff. I want to be able to read your comments and apply them, or at least have some sort of idea what you're talking about. So if you have a question or a comment about something on the video, leave it as a comment on the same video and just tell me as much as you think I need to know to understand what you're saying. Like, if you private message me on Discord, I'm sorry, I'm just not going to see it. I get so many private messages, I cannot possibly keep up with them. I honestly probably should just turn it off, because I feel really bad when I can't get back to people, but the volume is too much for me to keep up with. Please keep it to the comments section on the video that you are referencing. It's going to make it so much easier for everybody. I want you to be involved, but I also have to be able to handle what you're trying to get me, right? You hear me? As long as we can agree that that's something that needs to get taken care of, then I think everything is going to go a whole lot more smoothly. Because you guys have good ideas. But if I don't know what you're talking about, I can't do anything with it. Help me, help you, help me. I guess is the moral of the story there. But what I was going to get at was talking about these other things that we can keep building. A common thread in some of the comments is, oh, you haven't done enough with well-being. Well, I'm trying. There's just so much to do. And like stuff like right here, the Agora uses the endothermic essence that we cannot make enough of yet because we still don't have enough bamboo shoots. And that's just a thing that's going to take time. But you have something like the carousel. All I have to do is find a place where it's going to make sense to place one. And that doesn't have to be hard. I just have to do it. And I hadn't because we had all these other problems crop up. So if we can find a decent location that will actually accept one, and it can just exist, because like it's really not as simple as some of you think it is to place things on this map. I cannot dynamite enough stuff just because of how complex the map is. Like this right here, you're looking at like probably 10 hours in real time to get this knocked down, just because everything has to be having some sort of stairs or ladders or platforms, wherever, to get all these trees, and then we have to knock them all down. Dynamite and the nitroglycerin is a really, really, really involved thing to get done in this game. It's not like vanilla Timberborn. Like, I need you to understand, it takes a super long time. But looks like this grist mill's good to go. Kind of. Excuse me while I'm still trying to get my my voice to cooperate with me sometimes. That's why we're time-lapsing a whole bunch of this, which we haven't done today yet, but probably should. So what I will do is I'll go ahead and I'm going to time-lapse them doing a whole bunch of stuff here. Do my best to keep you updated in the middle of what's going on. But we'll see what we can get done in the next little bit. I know a lot of you have left comments of concern for my well-being. I am trying my best, just putting that out there, but the show absolutely must go on, or we are not going to get finished with this in time to do other stuff. There's so much cool stuff we got to get to in the end of the year, and then next year, Ostriv is supposed to come out with Update 6, Alpha 6 for that, and you better believe we're going to be all over that, and I want to make sure that we have, at the very least, this series fully complete well in advance of that. So there is a reason we're still doing this while I'm not at 100%. I'm trying my best. We're making it happen, and I appreciate your patience with the new I say new format. It's not always going to be like this, but we are able to get a pretty good amount of stuff done with these time lapses and skipping back and forth with me talking about different things. So I appreciate your patience. You guys have been amazing, and the support has been fantastic. Let's keep it going. So what we're doing here is we're blasting down this bit of the cliff and continuing to go a little bit further to the left from the point of view. Hopefully that still is happening while I am talking during the time lapse. Don't know how it's going to line up. But once that's taken care of, we're going to continue moving to the left, like I said, and then start putting in additional water towers, irrigation towers, start planting some more of these trees, and then see what else we can put over here as we continue moving stuff around. And then we've got plenty of other stuff to take care of. Oh, well, there you go, time-wise. Drought approaching. I couldn't get that out of the narration. But hey, it's fine. We got plenty of stuff to take care of. So now what you can see is we're going to start doing some improvements over here in the balloon area, primarily providing places for our materials that we're exporting to go and the materials that we're importing to go. So that should speed these guys up a little bit. We'll see exactly what we can make happen here. Again, this is going to be a super long process to get this entirely ironed out, but it's going to be well worth it, and I think we're going to find a whole lot of value in doing so. So what's happening now is, currently, I don't know about what you're watching, but right now, as I'm recording this, we're in a drought, about 6.5 days left to go, and I've just hooked up our second tree farm nursery building over here. So now we can actually get more of these sequoias planted. We have more demolition ongoing, more irrigation ongoing, and the process just keeps on going to get more and more stuff put over here. You may have seen previously in the time lapse to this point, or who knows, it might not have even happened yet. I don't know about how stuff is lining up. I think I've said that like 8 different times at this point, but We have planted some more grapes over in the original sequoia area, and we've worked on putting in some other storage for things, trying to optimize as much as we can, and just get what we can get done. That's all we can do. The one thing we're going to try a little bit to get our sawdust production up is to turn at least one of these advanced sawmills into the crude recipe, just for a little bit to try and jumpstart our sawdust, because, again, there's different ways we can get more of that, but for right now, I just need sawdust so I can have enough of this stuff ready to go, because there's multiple buildings that are getting held back by it, recipes getting held back by it, and we can't have that if we're going to attempt to have a successful operation here. So just going to get that out of the way and see what else we can get accomplished. Just you'll see little tiny things randomly pop up going all over the map, checking for bits and pieces of stuff that can get improved, switching recipes around, and generally just waiting to see what it is that is going to be possible for us to accomplish. So progress continues, filling in with some additional grapes, refining our harvesters, and just generally adjusting recipes. Some stuff works, some stuff doesn't, but the end goal is still making some sort of progress toward getting all of those things working. Food continues to improve slowly, fluctuating up and down a little bit, but the trend line is positive. We're hovering right around the high 30s, just about 40,000 food stored up, which is great, but I would still, I think, prefer to have more of the deluxe stew and not some of these more exotic foods, which is part of the reason why the balloons are going to be such an important part of the strategy going forward. But all of that just takes time, so we'll continue doing what we can, squeezing in little bits and pieces of bamboo anywhere we can shove them, getting more of those bamboo shoots, trying to optimize harvesting, seeing if there's anywhere I can put any of those harvesters' offices, but honestly, the layout of some of these areas really is not conducive to that, so we'll see what works, but it's just going to have to be something we put a little bit of effort into. So now what we're doing, at least what I'm doing right now, you may or may not see it soon or have already seen it, blasting down some area over by our old lily growing spot so I can put another one of these hauling bot standby areas here. Can't believe I hadn't thought about this before, but this area definitely could use some help in the hauling front, and we've got a whole bunch of those processors that are dying to be married to some nuclear waste and robot parts to give us some more big, beautiful hauler bots. So we'll go ahead and get that done, and then get back to the blasting in our sequoia area and see just how much we can get accomplished on that front. And you may have noticed that we also have finally started harvesting the sequoias in our giant new grow area. It's been a very, very, very long time coming, 50 days to be exact, but it's not like we were hurting for the giant logs anyway. But now that this is actually taking off, we can talk about what we want to do to process all this, which is of course going to have to be the advanced sawmills, and to power those we're probably going to have another nuclear reactor. But of course that's going to require us to construct additional buildings to produce that material. You know, it's just, like I said earlier, it's a wild goose chase. You're going to get one thing done, and then that's going to cause you to have to do something else, something else, something else. RuneScape players, the quest One Small Favor comes to mind, but I digress. We'll go ahead and start the process of getting some of that stuff set up. We've already done it once, so I'm not going to feel too bad about mostly just having it go by silently in a time lapse. Well, not silently, because you're going to be listening to my voice talking about something, probably not directly what's going on screen, but we're getting everything accomplished, and that is, of course, our eventual goal. What you can also see right now is a little bit of what kind of problem can I solve, what kind of problem have I created for myself, fiddling to put in our new advanced sawmills and everything that comes with that. And another thing I hadn't thought of until just right now, there's a bunch of bananas that we can still make good use of if we had them. So, considering the absolutely obnoxious quantity of giant sequoias that we now have growing and being planted, why don't we take some of this land over here to grow some bananas as well, put some greenhouses in. see how stuff lines up, and make good use of the space. All right, so let's come out of this time lapse real quick here, and by real quick I mean for the rest of the episode, because we have a bad tide coming in. So you know what that means. We've got to get everything set up. We're going to go back and take a look at everything that we've gotten done in this time lapse in just a moment, but I know bad things would happen if I didn't get this taken care of well in advance, so we'll go ahead and do that and then unpause. Cool, so our well-being is up to a max of 68. A little while ago. It's since gone down, but we've been making some pretty good progress. I think we'd be proud of there. So going back over here to our new area, look at all these trees. That's a ton of sequoias. We probably will never need this many sequoias, and that's fine. But we did start putting some banana trees in here. I am going to put another one of these irrigation lodges in. And I may, because of how this is set up here, I'm probably not going to be able to get away with putting in a giant irrigation tower lodge or whatever the thing's called, because there's so much pollution here. But I think we're going to have a great opportunity to grow a bunch of bananas and then some other fun stuff as well. Obviously, this is overkill, but hey, that's part of the, part of the deal with water beavers is everything's overkill. So, do what you can, and then once you've done what you can, then it's like those episodes of Mythbusters, right? Where it's like, oh, well, did the, what was the one that made my dad, like, visibly gag, I think was, I hope he doesn't get mad that I tell this story, but we're watching the one that's like, hey, can like jumping on the bed into a ceiling fan like decapitate you or whatever? Like, obviously not to do that because it's just a really stupid idea, and they couldn't replicate the results with the whatever methodology the experiment called for. So what do? They took a lawnmower and mounted it to, of course that's going to do something to the ballistics gel dummy. That's obviously they're doing it for the, I guess, shock value of putting it on TV, whatever. But I'm never going to forget. There's doing and then there's overdoing. That's something that's stuck with me forever. So water beavers as a mod, in my opinion, is 100% overdoing. But it's fun, right? That's why we do this stuff. So they're going to continue planting all this grape everything everywhere. Why do we still have... okay. That's the leftover giant logs, so we have the big old things here. But we've added a lot of grapes. And even though, like, some of these die every single time because of, well, bad tide. But I figured out that a lot of these weren't getting harvested because these guys were favoring the grapes instead. So, I mean, this was a while back in the time-lapse, so you might have missed it because it probably was super quick. But I did prioritize the bamboo shoots, and then especially over here, I put in a couple of these where, okay, well, here's one I put in. The harvester's office, just to get the minty bamboo shoots. And then there's another one that hasn't been constructed yet. But that one is supposed to be doing a little bit of everything. Just to try to make sure that we can get everything harvested, right? Because, I mean, there's even some of these right now that are 100% that haven't been picked because there's just so much going on. They weren't going to be able to do it. But look at all this progress. So it is just really nice. It's really, really nice to see all this stuff get done. I'm confused as to how the banana trees are actually growing without the greenhouse that they supposedly have to have. But hey, it's fine. I'll take it. I'll take it all day long. And you guys saw this. We've got our advanced sawmills that these aren't going to be built anytime soon. But I did give up on trying to raise the land here to irrigate this. I said, you know what? This is a perfect place to just put some sawmills. It's near the trees. It's close enough to the rest of our industrial area. But that's basically what's going on here. I've got this giant log bridge that eventually will be built. And then we'll have this guy bring the power across. I do still want to knock this down and put in some additional solar arrays. And for right now, we are making enough power to, have these things go without putting in another reactor. But that time will be coming pretty soon when that's no longer going to be true. So we'll see what happens there. Hopefully you also saw this area start to get a little bit better here. I did have to put in Click, please. A scouting balloon so we can get our sky exploration points to build more balloons. So I'm going to let this guy go for a while. But we also now have storage for methane. We've got storage for metal fasteners, and I've got storage for pineapples. Along with another fermentation house to turn NFRs into methane, just so we can start wearing down this number a little bit. Again, all this stuff just takes a really, really large amount of time. So, like this dynamite we've got here, just blast all this stuff away, get these overhangs out of here. And yeah, there's still plenty of stuff that has to get taken care of, but we're making progress. Very, very slowly, but we are making progress. We'll just continue, I guess, kind of setting ourselves up for whatever kind of success we can think we can achieve over here. Just let them get to where they can get to and move on from there. So, again, just, it's a mess. But it's our mess, right? Have some pride of ownership in your mess. And then try to make it better. So this, of course, is going to get blasted to smithereens here. Give us a little bit more room for balloon activities, if we so choose. Oh, I forgot about this getting all nasty over here, so, these pumpkins aren't looking so hot. That's the, you know, that's the pumpkin, like, Halloween was, like, 3 weeks ago, and somehow there's still pumpkins on your front steps. Like, don't do that. Ask me how I know. Maybe don't. But, I digress. We've got all that taken care of. I did pause the ENS again. This was a long time ago during the time-lapse. But I just couldn't justify having these guys sit here doing nothing when we have all these other jobs that have to get done. Also, 73 now. Incapacitated beavers. Not a good look. But the amount of burns are going down, so I can only assume there's some sort of progress being made with our endothermic essence, because now we have more bamboo shoots. Do we have a ton more bamboo shoots? No. But we have some. And that's what matters. Taking care of the burns, taking care of everything that we can as soon as we have the ability to. So, again, not a ton of progress, but we have made progress where it's mattered most. And that is what matters. So now I can put in a couple more greenhouses. Right, like, so obviously they can't plant all of these yet because the ground is not irrigated. But we can get the process started. And then hopefully when I save and exit and come back in, these greenhouses aren't going to be angry with me. But I think for the sake of the betterment of all of our beavers here, I am going to have these prioritized, these greenhouses, because we should... okay, I know that the actual answer of who did this is the mod creator, but who made the greenhouse have exactly 69 glass panes? That seems very intentional. For no reason whatsoever. But we're going to have to come over here to our... I always want to call these a blast furnace, but it's a high temperature foundry. That's what it's called. I got to find... Oh, no, I have to find the third one here. Oh, none of them are making glass panes. Well, guess what, bucko? You're going to make some glass panes today. Yeah, we got... we have a mighty need. A mighty need for some glass. So let's make that happen, because I really want these greenhouses to be all good to go. So, I think this is going to have to end up being yet another time-lapse, but basically what's going to happen here is we're going to try to get these greenhouses built. I'll give you the whole end-of-episode spiel like we always do, and then we'll pick this back up in the next episode, which, barring some sort of something else happening, will come out on Saturday. Again, I appreciate you bearing with me with these alternative format episodes of time-lapses and shorter run length and everything. It's the best I can do to still make sure that we get something accomplished while I'm waiting for the rest of my voice to come back, and not just lose the ability to speak for days at a time because I can't shut up while recording a video. So, again, appreciate you being here, Beard Boosters. Your contributions directly enable this insane behavior, so I don't know. Maybe that's not the best thing, but I really appreciate you anyway. making it possible for us to keep doing this stuff. I mean, what is this, episode 64? It's completely nuts that we've spent this much time playing this mod, but it's so much fun, and I'm glad we get to do it, and I'm very thankful for your support making it possible. Whatever it is you're doing with the rest of your day, friends, stay safe, have fun, and we'll see you in the next video. Take care. Bye-bye.